rely, together with other factors, not as a standalone, but with other factors, we can also apply this. Sha'adam anosei tavnit shel dalid nun aleph. Dalif nun aleph is DNA. Someone who has a certain sequence of DNA, dalif nun aleph. Mitochondri, that's the mitochondrial DNA. Asher nimsa kimat achrak etzel muksakim b'virok yudim, which is found almost exclusively, right? Again, it's 20, 30, 40, 50% of the Jewish population, 0.2% of the non-Jewish. So therefore, it's almost, right, exclusively found by those who are muchsakim, who are established bibirur, clearly established kiyudim. Ve'etzel miyot katan biyoter, and a very, very minuscule percentage by people, anashim hasfurim shem goyim, who consider themselves, who view themselves as being non-Jewish. Sheyesh litlot she'anav zeh hino Yehudi l'chol davar. So that will be able to support other evidence, right? So sometimes a person wants to get a tu'udah, wants to get a certificate, right, establishing that they are Jewish, right? So according to David Lau, this could be a factor in establishing that a person is Jewish. But again, of course, only the mitochondria which follows the mother. But as a stand alone, right? Someone comes to me and says, Rabbi, guess what? Right? I always thought that I was non-Jewish. I was brought up as a non-Jew. My parents are non-Jews, grandparents. We've been good church-going people, for generations. But I just did 23andMe, and I see I have these Ashkenazic, did I pronounce that correctly? Ashkenazic Jewish lineage, right? So I guess I'm Jewish, right? So can your tzedakah fund? No, I'm kidding, right? So, right? So that on its own, right, will not be grounds to establish a person as being Jewish. Now, it very well could be, as just like we spoke about the murder case that was just solved after 47 years, 46, 47 years, right? So you look at how our ability to sequence and to understand the genetic makeup of a person and the DNA, you look how that has mushroomed, right? Has grown within the past 20 years, right? And it's constantly, it's only accelerating. It's very possible that as we go further and we refine the technique that much more, it could very well be that it will assume an even greater role in the halachic determination of a person's Jewish lineage. But at this point, it is an indication, but it is no more than that, and a person would need to have other factors to support their Jewish status.
Yeah, other interesting examples where this comes in. I just happened to find out something. A woman who is 100% non-Jewish does dental hygiene, cleans your teeth. She had two beautiful daughters who got married. Somebody gave them a present to get this 23andMe test. Two daughters came back 50% Jewish, 50% is
1-5 or 5-0?
50%. 50%. Now they didn't know that they were any Jewish descendant. So the woman definitely is not Jewish. So it had to be the father. So the father came from a family that left Austria. So these were Jews that were secret Jews. They didn't tell their children they were Jewish. So all of a sudden this comes out.
Yeah.
So this is where this stuff
Yes. I remember I was at a rabbi's meeting a couple of years ago, and there was a rabbi who's there from Poland, and he was saying how it's incredible how many older men midlife, 40s, 50s, 60s, are coming to him now and are asking to be circumcised, because on their deathbed their mother or their father, right, is telling them that they were Jewish, but post-Holocaust they just went incognito.
There's another interesting example before this came out, that they established the Jewish line of Kohanim.
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
really talk about this?
Yes, yes. So they also have identified certain genes that Kohanim, those who are descendants of Aharon, of Aaron the high priest, so there are certain identifiers that they found amongst Kohanim, whether they were a Kohen in Hungary or they were a Kohen in Iraq, right? Wherever, right? From all over the world, but there were certain identifiers. Maybe that'll be an interesting thing to go into.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Again, what is the confidence level of those gene sets? I mean, you don't have those original Kohen genes to go back. This is just clusters and population biology. So, and how are we knowing that the people who are self-reporting to be Kohanim and then get their genes tested are truly knowledgeable that they're Kohanim?
Look, nowadays, how do we know that someone is a Kohen? If he says he's a Kohen, we believe that he's a Kohen. Right? It's like the famous joke. The guy goes to the rabbi, I want to become a Kohen. I can't make you a Kohen. Rabbi, I want to become a Kohen. I can't make you a Kohen. I want to become a Kohen. Why do you want to be a Kohen? My father was a Kohen. My grandfather was a Kohen. I want to be a Kohen. Right? That's how we know. That's how we know. That's the only way that we know. There are certain names, Kohen, as Kahan, right?
Kaplan.
Katz.
Kaplan.
So Katz is an acronym for Kohen Tzedek. Yeah. Kaplan, I didn't know that.
Kaplan.
Yeah, right? Judaican, actually enough, comes from the Hebrew Yedei Kohen. Jodakin, Yedei, the hands of a Kohen. So there are certain family names, but beyond that, that's why people don't eat truma these days. We separate the truma that goes to the Kohen. We don't eat it. First of all, we're all ritually impure. And second of all, a non-Kohen that eats that is a very strict heavenly judgment for that. So we think we're a Kohen, my father, my grandfather, but we don't know. Okay? But they have identified, I'll look into that. That could be an interesting topic. Right? They have identified certain markers, right, amongst self-identified Kohanim that are very, very specific, and they spread across, meaning with all the different genome of an Ashkenazic Jew from Hungary and an Iraqi Jew, right, a Kohen, right, that there is a tremendous amount of similarity. Yes, Ilana?
It might be a silly question, but there's no Hebrew equivalent of the word mitochondria?
With a lot of these scientific names, right? They don't make up. I don't know what language mitochondria is. I imagine that the scientists in France and in Germany, right, are all using basically the same term, and in Russia are basically using the same term, mitochondria, with a slightly different accent on the pronunciation. Yeah. Yes. Hi, Rivka.
They've done it on Cohens. Have they done it on the Levium? Because actually the Levium and the Cohens were one at one point.
Well, the Levium and Cohen were one going back quite a number of generations.
Aaron and Moshe, right?
Were brothers.
Brothers, but one became the Cohen and one just became the Levi.
Correct.
So they started out with similar.
They started off in the same tribe, but
right.
but the Kohanim will be descendants specifically of Aaron, and I think there's been a greater degree of self-identification amongst the Kohanim because of the specific roles that they play even today.
Because my kids had no clue that they were Levium. And my son was on an aeroplane, and he sat next to someone, and he said, Carasso, you're a Levi. All Carasso's a Levi. He didn't know that. So he did research, and he went to Kebarim, and he saw on old kebbers it said Karaso Halevi.
Yeah.
So every Karaso had
Yeah.
an Halevi.
Yeah, so that's
So
it, right.
He gathered all this and he went to the head rabbi of Greece because his grandfather came from Greece. He brought all this stuff because Daniel is a very good researcher, and he read everything over and he said, "You're a Levi." So they went out.
I hereby be knight to you as a lady.
Yeah, so they went
Yes.
out and they bought bamba and they celebrated.
Nice. Yes.
Jews have been affected by genetic research for at least 50 years as a way to see if you're going to have a kid that has Tay-Sachs disease,
Yeah.
and they got to test the mother and the father and see
Yeah.
what's
Yeah, there's been a
at
tremendous...
least 50 years, so we don't have a kid that has Tay-Sachs disease.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Before Nana and I got married, we went for and when couples are in the dating scene, so then they'll go to something called Dor Mesharim, a straight generation, and you go for a test, a blood test, and they
Right.
test for, are you a carrier of the genes for Tay-Sachs? And they'll either, if one is a carrier, the other one, you're not given the information. You're told it's a good match or it's not a good idea,
Yeah.
right? If it's a good match, it means either neither, or only one of them,
Yeah.
right, is a carrier, and therefore there's no concern, right? If it's not a good idea, it means that they are both carriers, and through that. Yes, through that initiative amongst the Jewish world, we have basically eradicated Tay-Sachs. Yes, Professor.
May I just mention, since you mentioned statistics, I'd like to give you some statistics that people don't look at. 4 generations per 100 years. In 2,000 years, there are 80 generations. Each one of us had 80 generations ahead of us. That is, the number of forefathers we all had is a 2 to the power 80th. 2 to the 80th. You know how big a number that is? That is a 1 with 24 zeros.
That's
So
going back.
what it means is that we're all related. We're all mishpucha here.
Yeah,
We have to be.
My.
that's the
We have
case.
no conversions. We're all mishpucha. So I'd like to say hello to my mishpucha.
Thank you. Hello, Mishpacha. Yes.
Related to you.
Also, one might take the sideline view of unintended, not studied view, that the absence of any of these 4 mitochondrials does not rule you out as a Jew, because
Correct.
there's the Sephardic Jewish.
100%. And even Ashkenazic. In other words, where I was mentioning the factors that will go into the statistics, it's the Jews that have it. It's the Jews that don't have it. And it's the non-Jews that do have it. And all of those percentages need to go into your figures over there. Yes, Len?
I just want to say that not surprisingly, it's relevant to this parsha, to this weekly parsha, because in this parsha, the preference was given to Jews as ethnicity versus Jews as a people of covenant. When Hashem wanted to annihilate Jewish people on the ground of them building the golden calf, Moses pleaded to save them, but to save them saying that they are descendants of Abraham,
Yitzchak, and
Yaakov. So
Right.
that's ethnicity,
Interesting.
still a necessary point for Jewish, not just because new people would be people
Right.
of covenant.
Because the
And
covenant had been somewhat abrogated,
and
but look at their
we
lineage.
cannot kind
Nice.
of fulfill our mission
Right.
according to
Very
Rabbi,
interesting.
Yes.
Thank you. Doug.
unless we
Nice.
still ethnicity build the state of Israel. Yes, we have to follow the covenant, but covenant we can acquire kind of
Correct.
that's adherence, but
Nice.
ethnicity is still there.
Correct. Linda.
In genealogy, we have to take a preponderance of evidence to establish that we have Jewish roots. And the census records from the early 1900s, people would identify themselves for nationality as Hebrew. That was their identification. But you can't use that. There's also cemetery stones and when I would go to the cemetery stone, I would see that they would have the hands on my great-grandfather's stone, a memorial tablet. You take a preponderance of the name patterns through all the generations, and you'd see a pattern of naming and why more than anything, you have to know who you are. You're not just a child because you're not Jewish because your mother is Jewish. You're Jewish spiritually if you search for who you are.
Yeah.
And what that means to be Jewish, it means changing your lifestyle. It means more than just, the DNA doesn't show anything. And one factor may not be enough, but when you see the preponderance of all these written documents and going back through time and seeing what your ancestors left behind, that it would give you more of
Yeah.
a conclusion that you are.
Yeah.
There's an Orange County Jewish Genealogy Society if anybody's interested.
Yeah.
And it meets once a month. And the next meeting is going to be Sunday, February 24th. It's going to be doing Holocaust research. And the next meeting for the month of March will be on immigration to America in the 1800s and 1900s. And every month they have different topics. And you get to meet other people who are Jewish and find out how to prove that you're Jewish, how to go back in time to find your ancestors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is the
Yeah.
website?
It has a website.
Okay.
What
Nice.
is the OC
Don't-
Historical Society?
Don't-
Jewish Genealogy Society, Orange County Jewish Genealogy.
OCJGS.